Hello, everyone. In this episode, we'll show what one can do with this LLM application. And here is an example of the climate risk analysis in earnings calls using the LLM. Technique-wise, we already used how to call OpenAI LLMs through API and then do classification. So I'll just largely just mention the big picture of what kind of things have been looked at because the classification, we already know how to do it. Okay. Okay, so what can chatbots do when they can understand text? And one of the things in finance that's useful is study their earnings call reports, isn't it? So, and one of the things that's been recently a concern is the climate-related risk disclosures. So let's go and look at the earnings call transcripts and then try the LLM to figure out how much of the climate risks are mentioned there. And for this test data, we use one of the Kaggle data, scrape mostly full earnings call transcripts. So you can sign in for Kaggle and download this file. I already did. It's in a pickle format, the comments, but you can just have that opened up inside Python. So again, I'll be quick, but we set up OpenAI and have your key, API key and access and have all the libraries and then I have to load the file, the earnings transcript file, which is in pickle. So in pandas, they actually have a function called read pickle. So you can open it up with this and you can check the data. So it looks like this, okay? And then the climate risk keyword detection. To do this, we basically have a couple of categories. The physical risk, like weather events, and transition risk. It's like shift towards a low carbon economy and regulatory ESG kind of risk. It's a policy change or whatever those kind of things are. So we basically have a couple of keywords here. You can, of course, expand them, but have the list here of these categories. And then we want the counter climate keyword in each transcript. One could also so that is a fairly straightforward. So you give a transcript and then have it counted, those that belongs to particular risk. And you can see that in general, like physical risk mentioned um, zero point 0.6, and 2.7 here for regulatory risk, a bit less. So transition risk is probably the most mentioned, total about 4 times, okay? So which companies talk about climate risk the most? So we go through some of the companies that are top 20 kind of mentions, and you can see BEP, so Tesla, something like this. So there are some of the familiar name. Um, so you can see how they mentioned. Okay. And over time, how does it look like? Again, you can parse it and run it through the physical transition regulator risks through the year. And again, it's a bit longer function. Let's go here. Uh, let's go here, and we can see that on average, it was a lot here, and then it kind of, I guess, through the pandemic, it was a little less, and then coming back again, and you can see the breakdown of physical transition and regulator risk separately. It seems that the transition risk is pretty high recently. Then LLM-based climate risk classification, so beyond the counting, so select the sample companies here. Um, Take the most recent earnings call transcript and extract the 2,000 characters because it costs money to call the API. Um, so we extract some of the likely candidates here from some of the popular sectors and then define the LLM climate risk classification function, like climate risk score 1 to 5, how prominent it is. And we have a couple of here, these categories. Okay. So we pass through and then we ask some mission, you're a financial analyst specializing in climate risk assessment and do ask for these kind of measures to do. So then it goes through the transcript call. So we run this and call that machine and run it through and have the scores done. And you can see that where it stands. And I guess here, Duke Energy, is it? Um, it's a bit more um, um, aggressive here. I guess here, isn't it? So it's a little bit more proactive. And then you can do, of course, many visualization like the heat map here for each company. Um, it's in the utility sector, I guess. Um, and among the sectors, the utility, because it's very simple because we only had one company that was moving, but in principle, this is what you can do with more companies. And how does the keyword count and LMM score comparison work out? Um, so here's the climate risk score, and here's the counting. And I guess, well, the score was mostly one here, so it didn't work out too well. So we probably need more variation. And then the temporal climate risk tracking. Here, I guess you can see it, risk across time, and plot it. And you can see there's a blip here, and then it's going up recently. And you can, of course, create a summary of the report, like analyst report style. Um, and of course, you can generate the report. Okay, so this was a quick illustration of what kind of project one might do once we have the LLM text summarization capability. Okay. Okay, thank you for watching this episode.